The unseen Lebanon whispers of the tribes. Lebanon. You think Beirut, glamour, conflict, ancient history. But there's another Lebanon, hidden away in the rugged mountains, in the forgotten valleys. These are the lands of the tribes, communities that cling to old ways. Their stories are rarely told. Their world is a whisper. Yet, it's a vital part of this country's soul, a place where time moves differently, where traditions are fiercely guarded. This is where we look, beyond the familiar, into the heart of the unseen. These aren't just scattered families. They are distinct groups, often Bedouin or with Bedouin roots. Their history stretches back centuries. Long before modern borders were drawn, they were nomads, shepherds, warriors. Their connection to this land is primal. It's in their blood, their songs, their collective memory. This history isn't found in books. It lives in the stories told by elders, around flickering fires, under starlit skies. A legacy passed from one generation to the next, a quiet, powerful current. Their culture is unique. Hospitality is sacred. The $11 dance daily life on a shoestring, $11. Think about that. $11 a day, to feed a family, to clothe them, to keep a roof overhead. This isn't a thought experiment. This is the stark reality. For many tribal women in Lebanon, and their families, it seems an impossible sum, a cruel joke. But they don't have the luxury of despair. They have the necessity of survival. Resourcefulness becomes an art form. Every single lira is stretched, pulled, made to do the work of 10. How do they make it work? Food is the biggest challenge. It's basic, simple, often what they can grow or what they can trade for. Lentils are a staple, rice if they're lucky, bread baked at home, olives from their trees, perhaps some goat cheese or yogurt. Meat is a rare treat, a luxury for special occasions. Water is gold, every drop precious, fuel for cooking fires, gathered with effort. This is the daily calculus of survival, a constant grinding effort. Threads of tradition, attire, and the definition of beauty. Forget fashion magazines, forget designer labels. Here in Lebanon's tribal lands, clothes tell a different story. They speak of heritage, of identity, of belonging. Traditional attire is not just for festivals. It's often everyday wear, especially for the women. Long, flowing robes, in vibrant colors, or deep, earthy tones. Intricate embroidery adorns the fabric. Patterns passed down through generations, each stitch a word, each garment a chapter in their family's history. Beauty here is not measured by fleeting trends. It's defined by something deeper, something more lasting. It's in the strength of a woman's hands, the clarity of her gaze, the warmth of her smile. Modesty is valued, but it doesn't mean drabness. Kohl lines the eyes, making them deep and expressive. Henna paints intricate designs on hands and feet, for weddings, for celebrations, for the simple joy of adornment. This beauty is earned, it's lived. Pillars of the home, the enduring role of women. In these tribal communities, women are the anchors, the silent, steady force that holds everything together. Their work is often invisible, unsung, but it is relentless, from before the sun rises until long after it sets. They are the pillars of the family, the guardians of the home. Their days are a blur of tasks, each one essential for the well-being and survival of their loved ones. They are the unsung heroines of this life. They raise the children, instilling in them the values, the traditions, the language of their people. They manage the meager household resources with incredible skill, stretching that $11 to cover every need. They fetch water, often from distant sources. They gather firewood. They prepare the meals, tending the fire, kneading the dough. Section 5. Weathering the storm, economic realities and cultural fortitude. The economic landscape here is harsh, unforgiving. Opportunities are few and far between. That $11 a day figure, it's not an abstract statistic. It's a daily grinding reality. For countless families, it dictates every choice, every meal, every hope. This isn't a life chosen for its simplicity. It's a life shaped by circumstance, by marginalization, by a lack of alternatives. They face this reality with a stoicism born of generations. Agriculture, if it exists, is often subsistence level, a small patch of land to grow food for the family, maybe a few goats or chickens. These provide a buffer, but they are vulnerable to drought, to disease, to the whims of nature. Section 6. Learning and healing. Access in remote lands. Education is a distant dream for these tribal children. Schools are miles away, a long, arduous journey. Resources are meager, textbooks scarce, and teachers reluctant. Girls face even more obstacles. Literacy levels are tragically low. Lack of education closes many doors. It limits opportunities for better employment. Yet the thirst for learning is there. You see it in the children's eyes. Parents yearn for a better future. They understand the power of education. If only it were within reach. If only the system cared enough to bridge the gap. Healthcare is similarly neglected. Clinics are few, doctors and nurses even rarer. Traditional medicine is often the first line of defense, but for serious conditions, it's inadequate. A simple infection can become life-threatening. The fundamental issue is access. Access to schools, clinics, basic services. This isolation perpetuates poverty and poor health. It keeps these communities marginalized. Addressing this is a matter of justice. Section 7. The modern tide navigating change and tradition. Even in the most remote corners, the modern world finds a way in. A flickering cell phone signal, a battered satellite dish bringing images, sounds, ideas from a world away. It's a double-edged sword, this creeping modernization. It offers connection, information, a glimpse of other possibilities. But it also brings new pressures, new desires, a sense of inadequacy, a questioning of old ways. The tide of change is relentless. Young people especially find themselves caught in the currents, pulled between two worlds, the ancient traditions of their elders, the deep-rooted customs of their community, and the seductive allure of the modern. The cities beckon with promises of jobs, excitement, a different kind of life. Some answer that call, leaving their villages, their families, their heritage, creating a void, a sense of loss for those who remain, and for the culture itself. This inevitable encounter between tradition and modernity creates tension. It sparks debate within families, within the community. How much change is acceptable? How much can be absorbed without losing the essence of who they are? Can the old ways coexist with the new, or must one inevitably give way to the other? These are not easy questions. There are no simple answers. It's a delicate balancing act performed every single day. Some aspects of modernity are welcomed. Improved communication can save lives. Access to new farming techniques can improve yields. But other changes are more insidious. They chip away at traditional values, at social structures, at the very fabric of community life. The pace of change can be overwhelming, threatening to sweep away centuries of culture in a single generation. It's a struggle for identity, for survival, in a world that won't stand still. Section 8. Strength in unity, community spirit and environmental bonds. In these tribal lands, community is the bedrock. Survival depends on mutual support and shared responsibility. The well-being of the group matters most. Help comes from within, driven by solidarity. Their connection to the environment is profound. They live in harmony with nature's rhythms. But environmental challenges make them vulnerable. Climate change affects their very existence. Section 9. Echoes of the future, hopes and uncertainties. So, what's next? What does the future hold for these women, for these communities hidden in the folds of Lebanon? It's a story written in hope and etched with deep uncertainty. Their resilience is undeniable, almost legendary, but the forces arrayed against them, poverty, marginalization, the relentless march of modernity, these are formidable. The pressures mount from every direction, pushing them, testing them. Their hopes are simple, yet profound. They yearn for recognition, for their culture, for their way of life. They ask for respect, not pity. They dream of basic human dignities, a decent education for their children so they can have choices, access to healthcare so they don't have to watch loved ones suffer. They want a chance to thrive, not just to scrape by on their own terms, within their own traditions if given the chance. The young generation stands at a crossroads. They are the bridge between the ancient past and the uncertain future. Will they choose to carry the torch of tradition, to keep the flame alive? Or will the lure of the outside world prove too strong? Their decisions will shape the destiny of these unique cultures. The very survival of their heritage rests heavily on their young shoulders. It's a monumental burden, a profound responsibility. These tribal communities, they are more than just a curiosity, more than a footnote in Lebanon's story. They are a mirror, reflecting our shared humanity. Their struggles, while specific to their circumstances, speak to universal themes of identity, of belonging, of the search for meaning in a rapidly changing world. Their story is a quiet one, but it demands to be heard before the echoes fade and the silence becomes permanent.